Have your brakes ever fallen off when you're driving down the road? And we'll check that out too. Ours did. I'm going to tell you what happened, how it happened, and how we fixed it right now. All right, I'm not sure if you can hear this, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you could hear that. And when you're driving down the road, it's even louder. It's actually embarrassing. So we're going to get that all cleaned up. We went on a dirt road that was about 20 miles long, and both ways. Imagine that. And we'll check that out too. But I'm sure it's full of rocks and dirt, so we'll get that fixed up. All right, it's later in the day. I had to go out and get a few parts. I did the other side already. Everybody who does this on YouTube, great job, because you make it look easy and clean. That was not the case for me. Very messy. It went through like 7 different gloves, and but I got it done. So, safety reasons or safety thoughts. You always want to chalk your tires when you're doing something like this. You don't want the RV rolling back or forth or anything. So always make sure you put out your chocks. Safety third, remember that. So talking about safety third, I found out a huge issue that probably could have been catastrophic if we were driving. And like I told you before, I heard something while we were driving, so I'm pretty sure this is what it is. I'm not a mechanic, but this brake assembly wasn't even attached. So when I pulled the drum off, everything came off, and these things had no bolts on them, and that's what attached it in here. Very scary. I'm glad I'm doing this before our trip to Utah, and we're gonna have to figure out how to fix this. So I wanted to show my wife what was going on with the brakes, so I brought her out here to take a look at it, and she noticed a few things that I'm going to show you right now. So I was showing her what happened here, that the holes here were all rounded out. So as they were driving down the road, all the bolts fell out, so shaking, and it rounded out these holes. So she said, well, what about these holes here? Are they rounded out? And I was like, I don't know, it looks like they are. So I took the bolt and I put it in here, and they all do move around a little bit. So what I did was took out the other side and to check to see if it was the same also. So let's go check that out. So I took this side off, and this is also about the same. It's not that much different, which made me feel good, because this axle is a custom axle. So if you have a 18BH, this axle you can only get custom ordered. I couldn't even find it on Dexter's website. So I don't know how you would even go about getting one. It's only 80 inches wide. So that's small for the axles I've been looking for. So it makes me feel a little better that these are about the same size as the other one. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy new brakes, the whole assembly, for like $160, and throw new ones on, and we'll call it good, hopefully. Also, something else, I think, because they're both the same, I think these little lips here help keep that in the same place. So it's okay that they move around a little bit because they're being held in place by these little tabs. So what I'm doing here is taping the wires coming off the travel trailer. There's 2 wires that go to each side, and I didn't want to mix them up, so I just taped them together. The manufacturer for the brakes says it doesn't matter for those 2 green wires where they go. So, but I just wanted to make sure that the travel trailer wires were together like they were from the factory. So that's why I taped them up. The nice thing about this brake assembly is those bolts were already attached to the brake assembly, so it was easy to put on. But the nuts that came with it were bigger than the original one, so I had a little trouble getting them on. Here I just used some butt connectors and shrink wrap tubing to seal the water out of the butt connectors as best I could. Then I used a butane lighter, which is really hot, so I had to stay far away to get those to shrink. The cool thing about these brakes was they had a little strap there and kept all those wires in there nice and neat. So this is another YouTube mechanics moment here. I saw this done, and it took about a half hour to do, but it actually worked out pretty well, and pulled that seal out, cleaned up the bearings, got all the grease out of it, and this actually worked out pretty well. I was quite happy how easy the old grease came out, and I was able to put this new grease in there. Got another YouTube Academy here. Use a 2x4 that again worked really good, and I was able to clean everything up and make sure the seals were good. This is the first time I've ever repacked bearings, so we're hoping for the best and that these things stay on and don't come flying off. I did kind of torque them down and then back it off a little bit. It turned fairly decently and not as good as the other side, so I'm not really sure why that is, but these are self-adjusting brakes, so I'm kind of hoping that once I hit the brakes a little bit and they self-adjust to the drum, that it will spin a lot better, but it doesn't spin too bad. So just putting a clip on here, and gonna put the cap on and we'll be ready to go. Well, that's all done. It wasn't pretty, but got the job done, and it's definitely not ASE certified, so don't take any advice from me, but it was a learning experience. I'm glad I got it done. I'm glad I figured out what these are all about. Now these are self-adjusting brakes, which means you don't have to spin the little adjuster, slack adjuster in there, so it'll do it itself. The instructions say to try to drive about 40 miles an hour, hit the brakes until 20 miles an hour. Do that a few times and they'll adjust to the right specs. So thank you very much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, like, and comment. I love talking to you guys. Thanks. Bye.